DJ Event Planner, Electra Voice, DJ Trivia and DJ Bingo, ProX Direct, NLFX Pro, Promo Only, Odyssey Cases, Perfect Portals, JMOZ Lighting, Instant DJ Requests, and our DJNTV Insiders. This is John Young from DJNTV. Thanks for watching.
Hello, welcome to Hanging with Howie. Tonight's topic is going to be a follow-up to the virtual training, which was how do you generate leads and ads and so forth like that. So we have the usual cast of characters here. Thank you all for tuning in. And John, you saw the show. What was your takeaway?
It did. They covered what you would expect. There was a lot of the something old and a little bit of the something new. A lot of the stuff I'm sure all of us have been using for years and years, keeping up with the vendor referrals, being in touch with the venues and the vendors, things, best practices, just to keep a line of communication open. So there's always a door. There's always something that can come through as a referral in some way, shape, or form. And then they kind of went in a little further on some of the newer ideas with maintaining social media content, getting your stuff up there on Instagram, have everything looking pro on Facebook, sharing the vision of the party you create. So it was good topics all the way across the board. And I'm sure a lot of us have some good ideas about getting vendor leads in here.
Brian, you saw something you liked for a bit.
Yeah, I couldn't even tell you who said it. I tuned in for just a few seconds. I've been battling a headache all night, so I popped in here just to do this for you guys tonight. But somebody had said something about when they were putting their business together, they're not a real big salesperson. And I'm that guy too. I don't like to talk about myself and sell myself. So ultimately what I wanted to do was I wanted to, build my reputation to a point where if I were to get an email or a phone call and said I was available, it was done. Mm-hmm. Like they were seeking me instead of seeking a service. They were seeking me specifically. And ultimately, I think that's the holy grail. I mean, that's how I feel about it. I'm that guy sometimes. I'm not that guy all the time. But I think that was a really good point. It ultimately, to be that person is the ultimate goal, as far as I'm concerned.
That was my big takeaway from the whole thing, was to sell yourself, and they want your personality. They want you, that kind of thing. And that otherwise, it was like build a multi-op and like, I've been there, done that.
Right.
I don't want to do it. Okay. Hey, Jay, what do you got today? I know you didn't see it, but how are you generating leads?
It's funny. It goes back, Buddy just said it in the chat. It really goes word of mouth. I've found, I've tried different avenues of advertising. I certainly try to keep up with vendors, but I think a lot of it is word of mouth. I mean, I will be out of business before I master how to get more leads.
Right.
Based solely on the fact that, Monday morning rolls around and I'm desperately trying to get pictures from photographers I worked with 48 hours ago, and I can't get that accomplished because I'm always like, oh, can I get some photos? You can watermark them, this, and this. So it's still a lot of word of mouth. It's also a lot of vendors saying, do you need a DJ? I've got a guy. Because they realize that I'm going to make their lives easier, especially with photographers.
Right.
Especially with photographers.
Believe it or not, that was brought up during the show. Yeah, it's very important to be kind. And I mean, even if the place is, a dump, you go, oh, very nice place you have here. Always keep a positive, nice word. And if you
got to try to be nice.
Hashtag the venue.
Oh yeah,
that came up big.
I ask now for a list. Like if I'm on a multi, person email from the venue to all the vendors, I'll come in if it's not already listed, and I'll just say, hey, would all of you mind sending me your hashtags so that the day of the wedding, I can make, or your Instagram, I can make sure that I tag you in any posts. And it does go a long way. The other thing, which is the easiest, is, man, kill it at the wedding. Like, it's amazing how many clients will send you things because you're on their radar. 1 year anniversary. Hit them up on Facebook or Instagram. Hey, thinking of you guys today. Congratulations. Oh my gosh. Thank you so much. It's so funny. One of my friends just got engaged last week and I told her she has to call you. I'm like, oh, please have her, mention you and blah, blah, blah. So, the old tried and true methods.
All right. We'll go right around the horn. Bill, how about you?
Well, we talked about business cards the other day and how so many people think they're going out of style. And I mentioned how, for me, they're never going to go out of style because they're our cheapest form of lead generation outside of word of mouth. And as Jay just said, sometimes somebody just suddenly goes, oh, I still have this guy's business card or something. My bank has a display out for all of their business customers to put business cards in. And I can't tell you how that has helped in some years. I've gotten holiday parties from that. But I think there's we've already kind of touched on it. I think there's a big glaring difference between your lead generation needs as a multi-op and your lead generation needs as a solo op.
Right.
And I've been in both worlds. I've been the GM of a multi-op, and now I'm, on my own. And I'm even, at this point, I get to a point to where I don't want to have to put in other people on dates. But if I have a full date and I've got a client that really wants somebody, then I've got a few reliable people to use. Well, one of them just got a referral from one of my past clients.
Oh, that's great.
And we all know him. It was Freddie, but anyway.
Oh, that's cool. You mentioned back to a past show about the business cards. One of the presenters tonight said, if I run out of business cards, in the corner of my laptop, I have a QR code. And everybody thought the QR codes were going to go away 8-10 years ago. Now they're back with a vengeance. And it's like, he said that, I'm so sorry. And then there are, would you like the business card or the QR code? And he says, Generation Z, they want it all on their phone. They would rather just take a picture of that QR code and it, funnels them to wherever for whatever. Aaron, how about you?
Yes, sir. I caught part of the show tonight and I did get an interesting tip and I apologize. I didn't catch his name. He's now doing he's doing all his own mixes and uploading his stuff to Mixcloud. That way couples can see the strengths of his abilities. And I thought that was a pretty good idea. It wasn't too bad. Sometimes it could cut your own throat. Like if you're not the right fit for them, you might lose a lead that way. Like if they come into your Mixcloud and they see that you do nothing but country music, Brian as a groom's not going to hire you. He's like, right. Yeah, you're not my thing. Even though you're capable of doing other things, if you're uploading your stuff to Mixcloud, you better make sure that you cover the gamut. Like make sure that you're doing multi-genre. You really want to be careful with that. When I heard him drop that, I was like, wow, that's a great idea. And then I thought about it for a bit and I'm like, you might want to be careful with that. If you don't cover your bases as a DJ to be like, hey, I can play country, rock, rap, hip hop, 90s, 80s, 70s. But if you don't properly put that across to your client that you can cover all the genres or you can cover all your bases, you actually could be cutting your own throat with that client. You could lose them.
Dude, I mean, Jay, are you seeing it now?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm seeing it now.
I don't hear the reference, but
Yeah, totally.
off air, you guys. Yeah, Brian.
Off air reference. Sorry.
Yeah. Just
Go ahead,
I want
Brian.
puppies and no clouds on a sunny day.
Yeah.
I got it.
That's right. But yeah, you know what? The word of mouth is big. Like for me, my generating leads comes from social media, and it comes from past couples that have done their weddings. They're on different wedding things on Facebook, Instagram, and things like that. And they message me. I get a message, hey, so and so said you were really good at their wedding. Can you come do my wedding? I haven't had to advertise for quite a while because I've been at this for 20 plus, almost 30 years, 25 years.
Right.
And that has gotten me through. I haven't had to pay more than cards, business cards with the QRs on them. And I haven't had to pay for advertising. Like I've been very fortunate.
That's my second question, which seemed to be...
I always seem to do your lead-ins, don't I?
Yeah. I mean,
that's why you keep me in that spot, because I get your lead-ins.
It's a collective.
I'm reading your mind
of like-minded people, which is really good. We feed off each other.
Yes,
Aaron has a really good OnlyFans page too. I've heard.
I do actually.
No kidding.
Yeah. That's what I've heard.
Come on, this is NPR. Keep it clean.
No,
yeah.
OnlyFans, you can also upload music there.
So anyway,
good to know.
Most of the people are obviously established now because 3/4 of them had multi-ops. But they did ask them, well, how did you get your start? And they would go and do, the bars or the trivia thing and this and that and meet people and then, build up and go from there. But now, especially all of us that are established, about 80% or more, at least for me, I don't advertise anymore at all. And it's just word of mouth. Is that what you guys are finding?
The ones that remember you are more likely to call you. I mean, back in the day, we were taking out ads in the local newspaper, taking up a little square of 50 characters. We're putting up our business cards on cork boards, just whatever it took to get out there.
Yeah.
You put like 4 or 5 cards on the pin, and you hope to come back in a week, and they're all gone. And you say, hopefully, it wasn't another DJ that took them down.
Yeah.
I think it's the dynamics have changed. I've run into this a couple times with people that work weddings in one particular facet of the wedding, and they've been very blunt about, I've said like, hey, do you have preferred DJs that you work with? I'd love to get on your list, just as a conversation starter. And they've been very quick to say, well, what I like to do is I like to make sure that you're a good fit for the client. I sell you to the client, and we have an agreed upon rate for me to sell that client. And I'm like, what is that rate like? And they're like, usually around 10%. So they have like no shame in telling me that they're getting pay to play. And I'm not saying that goes on all the time, but it's certainly, no one in this room or in the seminar tonight would admit it, but it goes
Never
on.
paid a kickback ever.
Nor have I. But I know for a fact that it goes. Now, that said, if you want to guarantee me 3 weddings a week at $2,000 a night, I'll give you $600 a week, because for that $30,000, I just made $300. I'm happy to give up 10% of $300,000 if it means I made $300,000. But the problem is, you're one of 10 DJs kicking 100 and change, and the only person catching the money is the person in that particular job that oversees the wedding. And it's not everyone. You should be valued by what you bring to the table. But I completely do understand we live in an economy where people want a piece of the pie. And if you're getting, $1,500 for a day of coordination and the DJ's getting $1,800, yeah, I can see you saying, well, look what I'm doing. Well, I mean, we're in a very rare bubble. We make or break weddings all the time. I mean, dead silence at a wedding has nothing to do with the cake, the flowers, or the food. Look at it, I love the florists I work with, but at the end of the night, the flowers sit there. The cake, I didn't even have wedding cake at my own wedding. I had photos that meant the world to me, and I had an amazing DJ, and I didn't have a wedding coordinator. That wasn't really in style 22 years ago.
Right.
So, I think once you've impressed upon your clients how important you were, and you do that by staying in touch with them, like John was saying, you're going to get that word of mouth, you're going to get that recognition. But sometimes you just have to, out of the blue, randomly go on Instagram or Facebook, tag a former client and be like, hey, I did a wedding this weekend. Thought of you guys because I played these 2 songs the same way I played them at your wedding, and it was awesome. Hope you're doing well. And it's amazing. 8 out of 10 times you get a hit back with like, oh my God, thank you so much. We went to a wedding last week. The DJ was terrible. My parents are still talking about it. Their 50th wedding anniversary is coming up. Oh, I do those.
Yeah. All right, guys. I think we're going to put a fork in it. I appreciate your time. Thank you so much. And good night, all.
Merry